What appears on the surface of a painting is the traces of movements which have stepped out of the unknown. To paint is to record evidence of one's own life and experience, the deepest thoughts on life and living, death and dying. From this springs meaning, that bridge between consciousness and matter, the bridge between our own human nature and the great nature that we exist within, yet apart from. My experience comes from traipsing through the Glen and other places. Almost everything I do comes from nature in some fashion. Either I photograph it and take it back and manipulate the photograph and then manipulate the painting from the photograph, sort of. And everything else is just what happens. Other than that, I had no background in art. Nothing. I didn't even like art, didn't even know anything about art. I went to college first for a little bit and then went in the Navy and saw more of the world. Exposed to a few more things and exposed to some artwork and went to a few galleries and really liked it, but I didn't do anything about it then either. And when I was with Valerie and had 2 kids, I just started drawing one day out of the clear blue, basically. And have kept up with it for about, it's almost 20-some years now. Picasso was probably my biggest influence because he was the first painter I ever saw when I was in the library. When I first started going to the library and looking at books, I started seeing Picasso and I thought, holy shit. I found out later I like a lot of painters. I also like how they think, is what I really am interested in, how they view what they do. You can only say so many things about it, and then you got to figure it out. Somebody's got to figure it out for themselves, what it means to them. I actually strive for precise ambiguity. So I want everything to be nice and precise and there, but you just don't know what it is sometimes. And you really have to look up. Most people, people actually bought some paintings, and I've lent paintings out, and they just tell me all the time that frequently when they go by, they see something different, which is actually what I intended in the first place. Because it's more like a conglomerate of things that's happening at the same time, but you can't see them all happening at the same time. I love texture, obviously. I mean, I like the feel, even the brush strokes. I like painting on rough wood because texture shows up. You can see all the brush marks. Some of them look like they're not even quite finished, which is okay. For me, that creates another dimension. I'm putting unfinished by finished. One little thing is in here, and I know it's there, and I leave it there for the simple reason that that's where I want it. I consider myself a figurative landscape painter. I mean, that's sort of what I do, but that's about as far as that goes. I have a style, I think. I have a personalized style, but no, I don't really. The same themes appear because that's what I think about, I guess. It's not like it's planned in advance, but just what comes out. I'm like very anti-religion. I'm anti-war most of the time. And those things appear even though I don't really want them to appear. All my paintings almost have violence in them in some fashion, whether it's violence of the color, violence of the line, or the actual images are violent. I deal with sex a lot, and like I said, violence, and just color. I love color. I've studied color charts a lot of various painters, and yet I couldn't really tell you colors in general, and I quite frequently just take them out of a tube and put them on a canvas, or mix them on the canvas, and it's just really, a lot of it's just really an instinctual process. I mean, obviously I think about it, but I don't know, it's kind of like, again, it's the ambiguity. I think about it, but I don't think about it. Obviously my mind is thinking about it, but I try to keep part of me out of it in a sense. Desert War. This again is from a photograph actually that I took. These were rocks and just different stuff. It's just so insane over there. It's more like the old Crusades. These are just a bunch of bones left over. I just wanted some image to, represent some kind of a long-lasting, I don't know if it's brutality or not, or just like, something frozen in time. It never comes out the same as I think it's going to come out, I'll put it that way. And for me, that works best because I can allow whatever it is, which I don't even know what it is exactly, but it starts coming out. And, it's, for me, emotional. It's really very personal. My paintings are very personal. It may not seem that way, but they are. Well, I think one of the drawbacks I've always had is not having a process. I mean, people want to know about processes. My view of painting is not a process, it's a painting. The more you talk about it, the more stupid it is. I mean, it's a painting. It's not supposed to be talked about. You're supposed to see it, you're supposed to figure it out there, or know, or what you think it is even. And I don't, I always get a kick out of people talking about paintings endlessly and, like this and that, and particularly abstract stuff. I don't know what the hell they're talking about, so. And people see things in my painting, I don't have a clue what they're talking about, which I think is pretty good in a sense, but I put politics in there. Everything I'm feeling and thinking at that precise moment, really, and day in and day out when I'm painting the painting. And some of them I've worked on for years. I mean, literally, they've changed years. As time goes by, I change them. Or repaint the whole thing, or paint over it. But that's always what I'm striving for. I just really like creating a sense of dimensions, a sense of space, and again, a sense of ambiguity, and it's like trying to paint all the thoughts that's going through your head at the same time. And many of them are just struggling, back and forth, and they're just the opposite, or whatever they may be, So I tend to put them there.